You know my two
Oh.
biggest problems with what's happening today is I'm jealous, Justin. I'm jealous that the left won't do this shit. I was there this weekend. We had there
We
fighting.
won't do nothing,
$3
man.
billion a sign, bro. It was like 50 of us per event. I'm proud I was there, bro. But
Hey, man, I was like, if it was the beginning of this week, man, I would have flown out and been right out there with y'all.
I know you would have.
Like,
I know you. I was actually telling
because
people that.
it's like
I was
the
like,
last
man,
day.
people
Like,
were
I
asking
gotta work.
if you were gonna be here
Can't
because
get fired.
I was the only black man, so I was like the only black guy speaking. So they're like, oh man, hey black man, you know the other football playing black man, where's he at? You know, where's he at? And I was like, oh man, he's probably like playing football and shit. That's a part-time job over the weekend and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like
Over the weekends, yeah.
but I know you would have been there. I saw you was at the town hall and I mean shit. You set it off, dog. You set off a domino effect, and I find it funny because I felt like when we first talked, I was like, bro, I don't know. I don't know because you had like 3,000 followers at that point on Twitter.
Yeah.
You was
man.
like
Not
relatively, just behind the scenes. You used to watch everybody's shit. You retweet a lot, but you didn't really give your opinion out like that. I remember after our first conversation, I'm like, man, bro, I feel like you might end up just setting some shit off by accident if you keep this shit up. And then look
what happened.
Look what
happened.
I didn't think it was gonna go like that though. I didn't think it was gonna be the giant AOC. Like you were the dog, you were the catalyst to the fraud squad, bro. You're the catalyst of the fraud squad. Tweet.
I know. I saw that trending. And I was like, damn.
In the fraud squad.
Going in.
Justin Jackson near attending in the fraud squad. I mean, shit. I'm jealous.
Near attending too. That's right. And look, let me talk about that real quick, because I know there's a lot of people that genuinely believe that the fraud squad. And here's my appeal to, even if you don't believe it, even if you give the best reading of the squad, and they're good with their intentions and they're genuinely trying to make change and et cetera, okay. If they go to DC and they think that just getting a pay-go exemption, just getting a pay-go exemption for their vote and a obscure committee seat, which may or may not have any consequential, ends, and they're going to try and work for decades and decades within the Democratic Party to make changes here and there, and they think they're never going to have to actually fight the corporatists, then what's the difference? At the end of the day, what's the difference? Nothing's going to get done. So look, whatever names they're being called or whatever, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter. What matters is there are real people that are hurting, and we put them in Congress to fight for us. Yep. And they're not even willing to say anything about who they're not. She'll go. AOC and some of the other squad members will go on, some podcasts and speaking events that no one's barely covering, and talk about we can't even get a vote on Medicare for all on the floor. But she's not willing to tweet that out to her 11 million followers. She's not willing to go to have a press conference in front of the Capitol building and say, look, I know the Republicans are bad. They're heinous. But guess what? We had the House majority for 2 years, and we couldn't even get a vote on a bill that would give you health care right now.
One tweet, Justin.
If you're not willing to do that, then I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, because you're never going to.
All it took, one tweet. All you would have had to say, you won't have to do much, bro. Like, even if you wasn't going to force the vote, because we wouldn't have known until you hit the floor. Like, you could have tweeted, Joe Biden doesn't support Medicare for all. Prove me wrong. Force the vote. Hashtag. That's all it would have took. The whole goddamn left would have been out on that. Because all of a sudden, now Sam City, they love riding AOC. So that's what it is. People don't realize, because Bernie's obviously older, he ain't gonna run again. Like, they're relying on AOC's brand for 2024, and they're hedging their bets between AOC and Nina. And they're gonna likely, if it's Nina versus AOC, well, Nina's a black woman, so she's gonna be thrown under the bus. That's exactly what they're gonna do to her. They're gonna be like, well, Nina should just sit out. Nina should just support AOC. Like, why do y'all think y'all don't pay attention to shit? I guess because I was on Toasted Surrogate, so I was seeing shit from a whole different perspective. See, you don't realize that AOC never defended Nina Turner, even against Jason Johnson, who literally called her a misfit black woman, her and Bree. People don't remember. AOC never defended Bree, even though she was being thrown under. But obviously, AOC didn't defend Tulsi. But like, a lot of people thought that, it's just because of the, they maybe just don't like each other. No. Tulsi had zero animosity. She didn't even know that AOC didn't like her, because AOC kissed her ass and ran on her platform until Tulsi announced she's running for president. That's literally what happened. there were entire websites dedicated to all the people running on the All Fossil Fuels Act. AOC, Tim Canova, Paula Jean, the first time she ran, every Justice Democrat, all of them ran onto, and then AOC just all of a sudden didn't like her anymore. Oh, I wonder why that is. It's probably because she didn't maybe want Tulsi to be the youngest president, be the first female, be the first woman of color. Same thing with Nina. They stand in her way of her 2024 run, and Ilhan Omar obviously doesn't present that threat to her. Neither does Rashida Tlaib, but not because she's an American citizen, but she's just not as popular as AOC is at the moment. Ayanna Pressley is basically just a Black Warren. Like, they're the only people that could stand in her way of her particular goals are the alum from 2016 that were loyal and have the history and the clout and the experience and would absolutely get Bernie's endorsement over AOC if they had ran in the 2024 race. Like if Tulsi never ran in 2020, ran in 2024, that it would be really a competition between Tulsi and Nina. And so Bernie would just stay out until one of them dropped out. AOC knows this. She's not stupid. So she's like, I'm gonna hedge my bets. I'm gonna kiss Warren's ass for 10 months. I'm gonna let Nina and Tulsi and anyone who supports them get thrown under the bus. And I'm gonna shut up and kiss Pelosi's ass and pretend like every problem's Republicans' problem. And people fell for it.
That's the most upsetting thing to me, is that she's very, very willing to go after Republicans. Great, all good and fine. They need to be, that they deserve to be gone after. But if you're not, like, you defeated one of the top House members in the Democratic Party, and who was groomed by who? Nancy Pelosi, Steny Hoyer, all these top Democrats. So if you think you're going to get in there and not have to fight those same people, that's ignorant. Yeah. And so now I feel like I try, this is just me. This is how I operate. I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. I do, even if they don't deserve it. But
you're consistent on that. Times. You're consistent on that, though. You were everybody else was attacking Tulsi. I remember you're like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, she's on our team. Yeah, so you're consistent on that.
And that's the thing that pisses me off so much. It's like, and like I said earlier, I thought on the left we were about fighting for policies, putting egos aside, and pushing the buck forward to help people who need the help, who don't have a voice. That's the ethos of our movement, as I thought. So why aren't we saying, Tulsi, the All Fossil Fuels Act is fucking great. Let's try and push this forward. No, because what they let happen is they let those narratives that the mainstream media creates creep in. Yeah. Because AOC was, even in 2019, as late as 2019, AOC was saying the Democratic Party won't do anything unless it's pushed, all these type of things. Then once Bernie dropped out and the narrative became, oh, if you're not for Biden and you're for Trump or blah, 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 all that stopped.
What do you think about her trying to pretend as if she was asked about Tara Reade on an NPR interview? She said, well, Tara Reade never said she was going to not vote for Biden. And actually, Tara Reade actually said that very explicitly. AOC tried to lie and say, because they were trying to figure out, like, hold up, you were talking about don't even give Kavanaugh a due process, like he just can't be there. But when it happens to Biden, it was much more credible, actually. Like the facts were just stacking against him so much that the media finally had to acknowledge it and just try to take her down. So they asked her, well, what's the difference? Well, Tara Reade didn't say that she wasn't going to vote for Biden. That's what AOC said, bro. That's what she said. I covered an article, linked it, NPR interview and everything, bro. I couldn't believe. I was like, oh, she a different type of path, bro. That's different.
And how Tara Reade was just, kind of unanimously given, the stiff arm by the establishment, right? And smeared and just all type of horrible things said. But like you said, when it was Kavanaugh, or when some of these other people, when it was even Al Franken, right? Like, they were very quick to get on that and to get on them for
or that. Conyers, who for his problems, he was one of the most progressive, which I believe that was it. So he reintroduced
the single payer bill in that.
Exactly. Right? He rewrote that, reintroduced it, and reintroduced the reparations bill and was following through on everything. And they were like, oh, he's gonna be a little bit of a problem for us. Let's go ahead and Me Too this motherfucker before he gets out of hand. And that's basically what it seemed like happened, because Eric, I thought that they would have at least
know about that.
Conyers. They like I was, and it was like that was weird.
This 2000s,
bro? No,
2010s.
No. This is like 2017, 2018.
Conyers. I didn't know he was still in Congress.
Election for his. I think Rashid is occupying his seat because they had to have a special election for his.
I did not know that.
Yes, sir. And he was that. I
didn't know he was still.
So Jayapal's bill, her Medicare for All bill, is mostly Conyers.
Conyers, okay.
Yeah, bro. And that HR 40, the reparations bill, is also Conyers. And I'm sure that he was probably, and he, like I said, he was working with progressives to fight for it a little bit harder and at the worst possible time, because now that becomes once again publicized in a way that they can't co-opt, because they started talking about reparations. Now imagine how ugly that shit would have got if Conyers was like, Kamala, you're not for reparations. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, and this is what
you haven't sponsored my bill, right?
Yeah. Imagine if there couldn't have been a co-option of Medicare for All, because that's what people would have figured out. That bill in the House was Conyers. It was originally Conyers' name on it, not Jayapal. They associate Jayapal with Bernie, but Conyers is old, like has been in the game for a long, long time.
Wow. Yeah,
and people would be like, Bernie, how come you never mentioned Conyers' name? If Medicare for All, he was the one who wrote this one. Obviously, John, excuse me. Oh, what's his name? He's gonna be. I know Miles might be mad as hell at me. Mike Gravel, him and Mike Gravel ran in the Democratic Party in the 2000s together against Obama and them. I cannot remember his goddamn name.
I don't know his. I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Kucinich. Dennis Kucinich. Good guy. I'm so bad with
Dennis Kucinich.
Yes, Dennis Kucinich, and introduced that bill too. And so now it gets to why this goes back to Bernie. Bernie has this really bad habit of co-opting other people's messages and never giving them credit. And then anyone who decides that he feels like he built up, and they decide to just do their own thing, like not even attack him, uplift him the entire time. Like if they do their own thing and it stands in his way in his ambition, what it looks like at this point is that they got to go. We're going to ignore them. We're going to pretend like they don't exist. We got to throw them under the bus, because the fact that you didn't coalesce with Yang and Tulsi and Marianne Williamson, when you saw the establishment do the exact same thing, what could have possibly possessed you to not work with them? They were all broke. They were all wanting to work with them.
And honestly, as much as I hate to say it, you got to try and get those Warren supporters too.
That's true.
I know what she did, but you got to, because at the end of the day, even if Kamala went after Joe, look what happened. They're VP and president. Like, this is what they're willing to do that we aren't.
Yep. And
they're willing, the establishment's willing to coalesce, even despite all their differences.
Yang came out and said Bernie never asked.
That's a travesty. That's what it is.
It is,
because we needed every single voter, every single one,
and they were
what we were trying to do.
And he was already in a weird place with the Yang gang, and all it would have taken is him calling Andrew Yang and asking for his endorsement. If Yang would have said, "Get out there and mobilize for Bernie," they would have did it. Even Tulsi supporters, and a lot of us were pissed at Bernie after he threw her under the bus time and time again. Because Tulsi did try to endorse him. That's the part that also people don't know. Did try to endorse him. What ended up happening was. It was revealed later on that Bernie had quit weeks before. He said it. He had already built the coalition with Joe. He said, he's in a race to help that Wisconsin judge win, who ended up ultimately losing anyway. So he let Tulsi get fucking fried. Let him get, you endorsed Joe Biden over Bernie? And he was like, and she said on Jimmy's show, obviously, once again, because Tulsi is fucking Tulsi, he doesn't want to throw anybody under the bus ever. Right. Like, she didn't want to say what the conversation was about, but after everything came out, like, okay, that's what happened. And she don't want to throw him under the bus because that's not who she is. She's very forgiving. But like for me, I was like, oh wow. So no, I was like, I mean, I didn't want to say it like it was fuck Bernie, but like, if you can do your friends like that, bro, if you can do your friends like that, the ones who's damn near sacrificed their career, who's getting shit right now because of your campaign that she joined in 2016. Bro, I know I don't mean shit to you. You'll throw me under the bus in a second. And then, of course, now we get full circle. That you just passed a bill, voted to pass a bill that gave us crumbs without reading it.
Crumbs. And it's like, how many
What
times
am I supposed to think, Justin? I don't know. What am I? Because you nicer than me. What am I supposed to think about that?
I'm wondering how many times we're gonna allow them to put this ultimatum in your face, and you just go along with it. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're gonna give people crumbs, but we have to pass it because it's something. Yeah. What, like, how many? It happened with the CARES Act. It happened with this bill. It's gonna happen with the next fucking bill and the one after that until you step up and do something about it.
If we keep getting crumbs, Justin, eventually we'll have a loaf of bread. That's the idea.
Yeah. In 2200, when the whole entire country is freaking collapsed from capitalism.
Bruh, it's I don't even know at this point. Like, my thing is, so at the end of the day, like, what's happening in Capitol Hill right now, for me, I can't bring myself to be upset largely for the same reason that I'm not upset when protesters, for the last 3 months was wilding out, if they were damaging buildings, because their government and their system and these institutions have failed them. It is never it's not 100%. The areas of disagreement that I have with maybe some of the people that are at Stop It Steal, that's because they were victims of propaganda, largely pushed by one or the other side of the government, like that. And when I sit one-on-one with anybody, I don't give a damn who they are. If they're genuine, and a lot of people are more genuine than most would think, we bridge that gap within a couple of hours. We knock a couple beers back. Oh, yeah. We're friends. They figured out they've been propagandized, might even teach me something new, and we realize it's those motherfuckers that were lying. Right? That's how I feel right now. If we had you think people would be storming if they had something to lose right now? You think those people would be storming if they got $2,000 checks every month?
No. That's what I'm saying. Ain't nobody there.
Transparency, bro. I don't know if Trump got robbed. I really don't know. I genuinely do not know. We'll never know, actually, because there's zero transparency. If there was transparency, this wouldn't be a thing. That's what people are not getting. It's not that.
And the primary, it happens in the primaries. We know it happens in the primaries. So why would we, you know what I mean? Like, you can't
too many facts.
Say, oh, in here, we know that there's definitely fraud happening. We saw it happen with the Iowa and the app and everything. Happened again, right? So when you don't stop it, when you don't actually fight back against it, you say, oh, whatever, we'll get them next time. Well, guess what? They're going to screw you next time once again, because they have the power and there's no repercussions. That's what happens when there's no consequences for an action. It happens again.
It's like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you black. Maybe you should get your ass whipped when you was a kid too. Whenever I did something that wasn't supposed to do, my mom whipped my ass, and I would think every time I'm about to do it again, I really don't want my mom to whip my ass. That shit hurt. You know what I'm saying? That's like fair. You gotta at least show consequences for your, like, that's why even Trump was very smart, because he knew, like, man, if I pass this, because if they didn't read it, goddamn well Trump didn't read that bill. And he was like, so Republicans and Democrats just try to slide this shit across my desk like this, like, and then blame me? Oh, hell no. So here what I'm about to do. I'm about to tell everybody in the world what the fuck is in this bill. Like, and
the funny thing is, they said most of, especially the shit that was in the appropriations bill, he had argued for. Oh, it's like, bruh, like, this is the country we live in, bro.
But I don't know how true that is, because if you think about it, he actually came out and said, "Hey, Pelosi, give me a stimulus check bill right now. Just that. I'll sign it right the fuck now. Let's go. Let's do it."
Yeah, he did.
Remember, multiple times. Okay, so at that point, why wasn't the independent leftist media saying, "AOC Bernie, what are y'all doing? Tell Pelosi to go do this shit right now." Hey, what they do? Mitch McConnell is stopping us from Mitch McConnell. I'm like, hold up. I've been looking at these articles, and there's a lot of what's the motherfucker's name? There's a lot of Joe Manchin stuff in here. Why his face keep popping up as being one of the leaders on this bill? Because he's a Democrat. So how's Mitch McConnell? And why isn't he doing anything? And why aren't y'all saying, y'all kidding? You're trying to tell me, bro, like Joe Manchin is one of the most Republican Democrats that you could possibly have. The man almost always goes to the Republican Party over. You can't even say Joe Manchin's name, Justin.
Bernie too.
Bernie too. It's just what I'm saying, bro. You can't say Joe Manchin.
None of them. None of them will say it.
Joe Manchin. So if you can't say Joe Manchin name when it's time to hold him accountable, I know you ain't about to say.
You won't say anybody. You're not gonna say anybody. You're not,
because Joe Manchin ain't got that much power. So at this point, it's time to organize it. And like I said, I appreciate you really using your platform and saying, you know what, like, we ain't got time for this bullshit. Like, and
we don't, man.
The story that you told about your mom, bro, I was crying, bro. I was crying. I was like, this some shit. This some shit. Like, it's unfortunately, it takes stories like that, like it takes experiences like that and trauma like that for some people to get it. Like, they don't get it because these people are their families got money, their families got healthcare. It might be a little bit more expensive, but it always does a job for them. And even if it is a little bit more expensive, they have enough money from literally generational savings to take care of the extreme shit. Like, and when they finally don't have it, then they'll all of a sudden begin to care. Like, but your story, and like I got, I have similar stories, not just like that with healthcare. I mean, yeah, actually, I had ADHD when I was a kid to the point where I had extreme. I used to get tempers out of nowhere. I would snap. I got held back in 7th grade for fighting. My mom had to lie to me. So I got tested for ADHD, and it turned out it was correct. My mom had to lie to me. So because we couldn't afford the medication. She never told me.
Wow, that's wow.
And she didn't tell me until I got diagnosed in college. Like, and my doctor was like, I don't know how you got through high school and middle school. But I was like, I got held back in middle school. I got kicked out of my AG program because I got held back. I got, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had, like I said, but I don't know how different things would have been, but my testing would have been different. Not that I had trouble. I was a decent tester, but there were a lot of 100s I could have had instead of 93s if I would have had the correct medication. Maybe I would have had a 2100 on my SATs instead of an 1800 on my SATs. Little things like that. Maybe I wouldn't have gotten held back in the 7th grade, but because we didn't have health,
it affects your whole life, man.
Bruh, I'm telling you,
it affects your whole life. It does.
It's crazy, man. Like, but it shouldn't take that just to want to fight for people to have health care, like just or damn election integrity, like, or to end this military industrial complex. Every single one of these fights is worth saying forced to vote on, and that's what people are not getting.
Every single one.
Every single one of them.
Every single one.
And yet
it's worth it, man.
The moment that we got these people, same people attacking forced to vote, cheering because we now have a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House. For what the hell you cheering for? You're not going to force them to vote for shit. What you cheering about? Well,
it's like, yeah, it's like two weeks ago they were saying, well, we don't have, there's Mitch McConnell, and then there's blue dog Democrats and also, but now that we have all branches of government, those same barriers are still in place. Replace Mitch McConnell with Joe Manchin, and it's almost even worse now because you actually can get all that stuff done. You have the power within your caucus to get all that stuff done, and it's probably not going to get done. That's almost even more insidious.
Yeah,
it's like you're dangling in front of someone's face, but you won't give it to them.
Was it 94 Democrats in the Progressive Caucus, and y'all can't get one floor vote for Medicare for all?
And that's what I said to AOC, because don't respond to me with a co-sponsorship list of over half of your caucus and then tell me y'all can't use all the people in that to get one floor vote. Don't tell me that. That doesn't make any sense.
No, that's cool. You want to hear some shit really gonna piss you off?
I don't appreciate that.
You want to hear some shit really gonna piss you off? Because see, this is the thing. I be thinking about this all day. Because I just be like, I like making myself mad at random points of the day. What's really gonna piss you off is we have to vote for impeachment, even though it's going to fail and possibly make him the most popular president in history once it does fail, because it's the principle. We know we don't have the numbers. Okay, we know we don't have the numbers, but we have to put our foot down. Some things are bigger than numbers, and
I remember that.
Oh, interesting. So what about?
So what about now?
Well, no.
It's the principle.
Are basically the same thing as votes.
Knowing that that's bullshit. Knowing that in this past presidential primary cycle, there were people in the Senate who co-sponsored the bill and then came out with bills that were not even close to Medicare for all.
Yep.
So I don't like being gaslit. I really don't. And I'm smart enough, and a lot of people are smart enough to see through that shit, okay? Yeah. So don't do that to me again. Be straight up. If you are saying you don't want to,
bro, she did it to you about 150 times since that tweet. What you mean? That's a daily thing for her. I would never want to be her boyfriend, bro. She's like, I feel like she's so manipulative. I would be terrified. Whoever, I think she did some like white redhead kid. I'm like, man, dog, I wish you luck, dog. Cause that is so she tweeted out a picture the night that they voted for Pelosi, of how it's, how it started, how it's going. So it was like talking about the squad, right? So how it started, it was just her. in the I think the White House at that in the Oval Office, if I'm not mistaken. And then it's like how it's going, and there's a picture of the entire squad. So the problem with that is you weren't even the first one actually elected. It was Rashida. She was the first one because they didn't have a Republican to beat her. There was no one running. So she was actually the first one. There's that. You're not the only one in the squad. Okay. So there's that. But you're not the only one. Like, you weren't there. It didn't just start with you. But she literally posts this damn picture. And then, of course, in the other side of the picture, once again, is the entire squad, but with her sitting next to Cori Bush, the woman she refused to endorse.
This is something that I've been thinking about. And I really wish these political figures and politicians who have the power in their hands to save people's lives or choose not to stop going on Twitter and doing these trends and doing these photos and all this shit, okay? Do they understand how much suffering and pain is in the country right now? Like, that shit looks bad. It looks bad. It looks like you're not feeling that, or you're just, I don't know. Like, this, that's why it's the bubble. It's the DC bubble. It is the celebration. Like, that's a real thing. Like, there are people who are going to lose their houses even if they get 2K. There's people 4, 5, 6, 7 months behind on rent in this country.
Even with the
there's a lot of hurt.
Even in AOC's own fucking city, there's a moratorium. Like, Trump, one of the few good things he did, he's using executive order to have a moratorium until January. So why are people still getting evicted in New York? And why the fuck are you not out there standing in front of their goddamn houses, using your power as a congresswoman to make sure that shit doesn't happen? Like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Listen, like, all that shit people want to talk about Tulsi, I bet you motherfucking money if anybody, one person in Hawaii was getting evicted during a moratorium, she is in Hawaii. I've seen her literally get someone a work visa within a day's notice, and now that woman is also the like featherweight champion of UFC. But that's what you should be doing with your power. Like, fine, if y'all don't get it done, I'll get the shit done myself. And that's not what we're seeing.
And they have the power to do that. And the thing about AOC that makes her so special is that she has this crossover appeal with a lot of the liberals who don't like Bernie.
Yeah.
She actually can reach those people. And that makes her a powerful tool to bring more people into our coalition.
But so it's because of her disingenuous nature, though. That's the problem. It's the disingenuous nature she goes about her politics that makes her popular with neoliberals that hate Bernie. The moment that she becomes more genuine, well, then you can see what happened with Bree, right? Neoliberals have always hated Bree, but like maybe some left, like some liberal, but kind of left-leaning people like Bree, the moment she said, oh yeah, we got to force the vote. AOC got to be held accountable. Bernie got to be held accountable. We got to force his vote. Oh, whoa, Bree's an Uncle Tom, actually, who uplifts white supremacists. Anna Gasparian tried to attack Bree for not defending her against Jimmy. Like, first of all, her and Anna are not friends like that. Second of all, Anna has literally never defended Bree. Never.
Do they even like?
No, nothing. They're not friends. They're not friends. And she's never defended Bree. That's what makes it horrible. Like, Bree never talked shit about Anna, but Bree has been, just maligned.
Oh man, so bad.
And you got Ben, you know why? Because Ben Dixon on TYT, and you don't want no animosity between the two. And like, but you couldn't just say, hey man, this is uncalled for. Like, this is unnecessary. Bree's on our team.
Yeah.
You know, we might disagree on this issue. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how I feel about Jimmy. Bree is not Jimmy.
Right. Bree is like the nicest, most
super
white,
nice. Like, they seem to have killed that Bree. That Bree seems to be buried somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Bree's going hard now, and I love it. I mean, as she should. Like, she's getting smeared left and right. Like, what?
But she never. I don't think she ever expected.
Someone with hurt characters.
I don't think she ever expected to what I saw it coming, bro. Like, they were using her brand. Like, they were using her. She's a black woman, so things she says carries enough weight, because there's only allowed to be like 3 progressive black women that are popular at once. That's not, you can't have any more than that. There's a threshold, and she just happened to hit a level of popularity that like no one, I don't think, expected. Like, I kind of expected it because I'm like, yeah, she's really good at this shit, and
really good. She's unbelievable.
She knows how to stay in the good graces of a lot of people at the same time. I'm like, it can only last for so long because she's also principled. I mean, the first thing she does out the campaign is hey man, I know I was with Bernie, but fuck Joe Biden. I ain't voting for him. Like, that's the first thing she does. So I'm like, uh-oh, I know where this is headed. And when the thing, once again, Black woman speaks with that type of platform, just like with Nina Turner, everybody starts listening. It becomes national news. So now everybody knows Bree's principle. So what do?
Mm-hmm.
You attack her character because, if Bree's principle and she's saying this, we can't. If either we get exposed because that's what will happen, or we shut her down without ever talking about the actual fucking issue. We'll associate her with Jimmy. We'll associate her with white supremacists. Mm-hmm. We'll call her Uncle Tom. We'll say, I can't believe you're speaking at this event with Niko House. I can't believe you're. And we will never actually address her stance on Medicare for all that she's been advocating for forever. We'll never address any of that. We're just going to assassinate her character because we know we can't, because it's a Black woman.
Mm-hmm. But it's all protect Black women, right?
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
Except that one. That one.
I tell people all the time, bro. If it would have been Nina to run against Bernie instead of Tulsi this time around, she would have got worse than Tulsi. They would have. Oh yeah. God. Oh, can you imagine?
How dare you?
How dare you?
Participate in democracy.
He made you. You turn your back on him after everything he did for you. That's exactly how that. That's how that. Like, after Bernie threw Bree under the bus, nothing. Bro, that for me would have been that actually for me, as far as Bernie's character was concerned, whenever they were like, what do you think about Bree? When she said, all she said was, I'm not personally voting for Joe Biden. I don't support him. Like, look, she's not part of this campaign anymore. She's not on the payroll anymore. What? Not even, hey, she used to work for us and we have respect, we respect each other on our differences. I still appreciate what she did for our campaign. Huge nothing. Just throw her under the fucking bus. Are you kidding me, bro? That's what we do to the Black women after they disagree with you. That's what happens. Like, I remember, hell, you damn near threw Nina under the bus on reparations until you finally got some sense. It was like, bro, he's like, I guess I'll sign it if it gets across my desk. That's what you finally got to. But you had Nina out here like by herself advocating for that shit on your campaign as a co-chair. Like, and his excuse was, I got a better plan.
And with the task forces afterwards, they wouldn't let Nina on.
And you still exactly. Or Bree.
They wouldn't let her on. Or Bree, right? They just said no. We're not letting them anywhere near because they speak too much truth. Though they speak unfiltered truth, and that's dangerous.
And like I said,
dangerous. So
we talked about this briefly on off camera, but like at the Force to Vote rally, even though it was created by Jackson Henkel. Shout out to Jackson. Either by on purpose or on accident, the whole event, the featured speakers were almost all either Black, they were either women of color, and it was mostly women. And instead of like uplifting these people, like, wow, like, bro, I've been a progressive for so long, bro. I've been a leftist. I've never been at an event like that where the featured speakers were almost all Black. And for an issue that wasn't specifically, because the only time we get called is whenever white progressives want to put us up front so that we can defend Black issues that they agree with, so they can get bored. Oh my God, look at you being so nice and giving this Black person a platform. That's so sweet of you. I'm gonna follow you though instead, because you're a really nice white person that gives Black people platforms that makes me feel all good inside. Like, nah, Jackson was like, y'all got it. Here you go. This issue affects y'all community more than anybody else. Take the fucking floor. This is y'all. Are you? And that's the event y'all want to attack? That's crazy. That's crazy. So y'all
all of a sudden we don't like protesting for healthcare. No.
I want to talk about Jimmy attacking women. Oh my God, he's so sexist. He's attacking women. I'm like, y'all just spent the whole weekend smearing people, smearing Black people, smearing women, smearing Black women, smearing Latino women, because y'all didn't want to force people to vote for healthcare. Like, if y'all was GOP, everybody, y'all be calling yourselves racist. I mean, it turned out that TYT apparently actually is racist, but that's a different conversation.